big recruiting weekend, but still a couple of big name targets to keep tabs on as well for Nebraska. Linebacker Dawson Merritt back from Alabama. Then Michael Terry, the 5-star athlete, back from Texas. And, really tough situations. I mean, I think Michael Terry is the one you wonder, he's from San Antonio, right near Austin, Texas. He shows up to his visit at Texas, Lamborghinis and sports cars, everything up. I mean, they had a huge visit weekend with red carpets and Lamborghinis and sports cars, you name it. I think with Nebraska, what they have going for them is the plan to use Michael Terry. They have presented the best way to use him as an athlete, like a Deebo Samuel type. I think Texas actually has told him defense.
Well, there you go. You've talked to him, Sean. What was your feeling? You talked to him at that event in Nashville.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, and it felt like Nebraska was in a very good position.
Yeah.
Now, Dawson Merritt, the Kansas City linebacker whose father works for the Chiefs, visited Alabama this weekend.
Right.
And it's Nebraska versus Alabama. And I will tell you, in April, a lot of people in Alabama felt like he was a silent commit to the Tide. But Nebraska came back in, brought him to campus 3 times over a period of time, and really won him over, had a great time. With that said, I think Alabama feels really good about where they are with Dawson Merritt.
I'm sure they do. I mean, they're Alabama, and I'm sure Texas feels good about Michael Terry. These guys, Dawson Merritt and Michael Terry, if you just get one of them, it changes the complexion of the class. Jamarian Parker helped. TJ Lateef helped enhance the profile. This would take the profile to another level. Just get one of them. It would take the profile to another level. If you get 2, then now you start thinking kind of wild things, right? Like, wow, where could this go? I don't know, Sean. I hate to close the door on either of them.
Well, Derek Young from our On3 Kansas State site put in a prediction for Alabama for Dawson Merritt. So,
and I talked to Tim Watts at Bama Online, and they feel good about Dawson right now. So
I should stay in my lane.
If you're Nebraska, this is your selling point. Do you want to be just a guy at Alabama, or would you rather be the guy at Nebraska
and be part of a rise? If you really feel genuinely confident about Nebraska rising under Matt Rule, it'd be fun to be part of that. But, you're rolling the dice on that.
And then this weekend, we have 9 names down right now, but it easily could be more than that. I mean, there's a lot of loose ends to tie up on these visit weekends that go all the way till Thursday. It's only Tuesday when we're taping. But the big one's coming in this weekend. Christian Jones will be making his official visit to Nebraska. Corey Sims, Husker legacy basketball player, 4-star, another St. Louis guy coming in on campus. Malcolm Simpson, a 4-star defensive lineman out of Galveston, Texas.
Okay.
So you've got a really, really good group of players coming in. Aiden Manatua from Kahuku High School, Sipple, is coming in from Hawaii.
Okay.
We went to Kahuku.
Yes, we did. Wow.
On the North Shore.
That's right. Well, yeah, I watched the bigs the closest. The big players, the linemen, are what will put you over the top ultimately. I'm not saying that, running backs, receivers, safeties, corners are a dime a dozen, but there's that. I mean, one thing I learned when we were out there, Sean, in Texas, those coaches kind of speak of it that way. Oh, you can always find safeties, corners, receivers, even quarterbacks. That's the discussion, but not with bigs. Those guys are the ones. So I'll watch those guys that, the Malcolm Simpsons. Can Nebraska land those big boys?
And then the next weekend, the 21st, will be another big one. So they've really focused their efforts on 2 weekends. There's 15 names on that weekend. Now, Jalen Williams just committed to Michigan, so he'll be off that list. We just have to update that.
Okay.
And he's been a lean to Michigan for a long time. But a lot of other guys that are current commits will be in that weekend. Chase Lofton, as you see, will be in on that 21st weekend. But there is a Friday Night Lights camp for Nebraska that will take place this week. So they'll have visitors arrive in town Thursday night or Friday. There's going to be a camp Friday night, and then they're going to have another camp Sunday. So those coaches are going to be wall to wall busy with visitors coming in town, a Friday Night Lights camp, the visitors all night Friday, all day Saturday, Sunday morning breakfast, and then they'll have a Sunday camp, and that will be their final camp. It's a 7 camp schedule over 10 days.
Yeah, it's big. That's a big weekend.
It's a big weekend.
Yeah.
To kind of get yourself into that dead period. So plenty to follow Husker Online for. Brian Munson, nobody does it better than the big guy, Brian. And Brian was up here. His son took part in the long snapping camp.
Okay. Now, how do you feel about Jones?
Christian Jones?
Yeah.
Again, he's going to have to come here. I think Nebraska's recruited him for a long time. He's been here several times. It's more a matter of, does he want to be a Husker?
How about Zebert? Ryman.
Again, I think tight end need. Like, how can you take both Chase Lofton and Zebra both? Like, that's the question that I don't know if you'd get like a clear answer on.
Okay.
Because they've loaded up on tight ends. And what position does this state produce more than any? Tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
So if you lose him or you can't get both, I don't look at that as a huge loss, because that's the one position that this area produces.
Yeah, after my Mooberry take, I got to kind of stay in my lane, to be clear.
Yeah, I was like, Mooberry is a tight end. You're the only person I've ever heard say that, along with Jordine Ball's name. And I mean, you've had some really original ones.
Well, he's a linebacker. There's tight end plays on his film, so that's where I got
He
it.
caught 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
They moved him around.
Yeah. And I read that. I think I read that line in Brian's breakdown.
I was kind of like, where did you ever see this at? Like, they've got like world-class tight ends on this roster.
Yeah, they do.